All right, so if I was going to make just a chicken stock, I'd put this on the stove and call it a day. And I'd make white chicken stock. But it's just important for you to understand that part. But here we're really going to make today is the white veal and poultry stock, which is what we call. Now, if I had turkey bones, a few of those, or some chicken and some turkey, or some quail bones, or pheasant bones, or any bird bones per se, we can mix them all together with the veal bones. Now, you want to make sure that whenever you do this, though, and you make a white veal and poultry stock, that you have meat on the bones. Otherwise, you got to cook the thing for a day and a half for starters. And the bones have to be cut up small so that you don't have to cook them so long, all right? So I'm going to take my 4 or 5 pounds of veal bones and I'm going to throw them on there too. Now, I think you, either in a recipe or in any lecture that I would give about white stocks, I would probably always say that this is the best white stock that there is. Veal and poultry mixed together. Now, chicken stock by itself, that's really good. But when you start mixing veal meat into that stock, it makes it better. And they're both good. Certainly the final outcome of the soup or sauce, whatever it is you're making with it, is going to be determined by how well you apply your other skills to making it, how much it's reduced, how it's flavored, how you season it. So for me to say that you need to have veal in your white stock, and that's why it's going to be so much better, that would be incorrect directly, okay? Indirectly, it wouldn't be, though. I would say generally this is a little better because it's got white veal mixed into the chicken. But the straight chicken is just as good for any of these other uses that we would use this for. So now I'm going to put this on the stove. And there you see we got a combination of veal bones with meat and chicken. And we're going to cover it up with cold water, as we do every stock, which begins with cold water. And it's slowly brought to a simmer. That gives all of the insolubles, the fat and the scum, time to come back to the top. Now remember something. We're not boiling these stocks for the same reason over and over and over again when it comes to bones. Stocks with bones in them. We don't want the scum and fat to be recycled back into the stock. We want to take that out. This is a cleansing process that never stops while we're making the stock. So I'll begin by skimming this stock in the beginning when it first starts cooking, but then over the course of time that it's cooking, in this case it's going to be maybe 5 to 7 hours, I'm going to continue to come along and nursemaid the stock and come along and skim it. And then in the final analysis, all of this skimming, and then of course as we progress to making sauce out of the stock, the skimming of the sauce itself, this is continuous, this continuous cleansing, which is what makes the sauce so smooth and nice and professional, if you will. And it just has that, it's just better, it tastes better because all the bad stuff is taken out. All right, so we're going to cover this up, whoa, I forgot the thyme and bay leaf. We put a little bit of thyme and a little bit of bay leaf. And we're going to hit it with the cold water. And we're going to bring it up to a simmer. Now, one of the things you're going to see every time you make a white stock versus a brown stock is there's going to be more scum that comes to the surface of that stock. The reason why is the albumin that's in the bones, it's cooked away a little bit in the brown stock, so it kind of disappears into the pan with the marrow when you're roasting the bones. But in this particular case, it doesn't. It just releases itself into the water and comes up as scum. So you'll see twice as much scum on the top of a white stock than you will on top of a brown stock. So when you see that, that's why, okay? So we'll bring this up to a simmer. We'll come back during halfway through the cooking process in about 3 or 4 hours with this item, and we'll show you what it looks like, do a little bit of skimming. Meanwhile, the entire time that we are off the tape on this item, because this is going to be about a 2 or 3 take stock, I'm going to be nursemaiding this, topping it off with cold water, and skimming it, all right? So we'll be back in the next scene about this to take a closer look at it again and see how it looks when it's cooking in a little while. Okay, this is part 2 of white veal and poultry stock. I wanted to show you the amount of scum that comes to the top of this particular pot. And I want to show you again the exact physical procedure for removing the scum from the stock pots. Now, one of the things I got here is I got the pot half. It's not centered on that burner. It's off center because I want to create turbulence that pushes the scum to one side of the pot so I can remove the scum easier. The turbulence will force it to collect on one side, okay? But you'll notice there's a lot of this gray scum on here. Put it in my scum pot. I just want to point that out to you. And it's the last time I'm going to take you to this pot, this white chicken and veal and poultry stock. This is the last time I'm taking you here until this is done. And when you come back, this is going to be cooked for like 5 to 7 hours, 8 hours, depending, and then we're going to strain it. And we'll take a look at the stock later. Okay, so there you go. You'll notice how it's, I want you to get a tight shot, Richard, here. I want you, your students to notice the amount of simmering here. This is chicken and veal. This is not brown beef, or this is not any other stock. This one simmers a little bit more than your brown bone stocks, okay? I can make it a little bit more than that if I want, but I don't want to because this has got bones in it. You don't want the stock to be cloudy, okay? So it's off center slightly, fat's collecting, but once again, we're leaving the chicken fat in here that I have right now. All we want to take off the surface of this is scum. Now you may have to go to a smaller ladle to get the scum off, but leave the fat behind, see? So again, all stocks, all sauces, but particularly at the stock stage, which is where we are in this particular lesson, are nursemaided. You are the caretaker of the stock. You are the one who takes all of the insolubles off. And that's what makes the stock really nice and clear and clean. Okay? All right. I'll see you when this is done.